and I'm the core member, the founding member with Parmeet PG of WSCC. Thank you very much for your presence today. We believe that networking and the right education is the key for us to keep growing in these challenging times. That is why we are starting with the series of these educational sessions. COVID-19 has really impacted each and every human being living on the planet, and all of us have experienced this stress or anxiety in some way or the other. That's why we are precisely, here in front of you. And our member speaker, like Parmeet Viji said, will address the problem of stress and how to combat it. Also, she will speak on the art of giving, and we will all take benefit from it. Before I invite her to take the session, I wanted to share a few words about her. Rima Kohli ji is a precious member of WSCC family. She has been a motivational speaker and a soft skills trainer for the last 12 years now. Earlier, she had an institute of her own by the name of Prime Educations, but now she's a freelancer and has taken various sessions in schools like Guru Harikrishna Public Schools, St. Mark's Girls' Schools, Mata Jaikaur, etc. She has also taken her workshops in colleges like Mata Sundari College, Manipal University Jaipur, JIMS Kalkaji, IITM Janakpuri, and Inmatech Ghaziabad, etc. She's worked with hospitals as well, like Fortis, Max Hospitals, to name a few. Her USP is that she can confidently handle the topic with a group of as big as 100 to 200 people for an hour or so. So we are grateful to have you, Rima ma'am. Over to you, please. You have to unmute yourself.
Surely do that. Can everybody hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Great. Sat Shri Akal, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank WSCC for inviting me as a speaker out here today. Today, I'll be dealing with the topic stress, how to tackle it, and also combine a little bit of art of giving in this, because it is somewhere interconnected and related. So first of all, I'm sure you would be thinking, why are we touching on such a negative topic? Stress is a negative thing. Why not talk about positive things? And in this hour, we really need to be full of positivity and be extremely positive. So why stress then? Basically, stress is the underlying or root cause of all the problems that humans are facing, whether it is BP, sugar, migraine, thyroid, etc. So why not deeply understand what stress is, know what are the reasons that cause stress, and also know the ways how to come out of it so that we can make our body and our life free from stress. Now, generally in sessions, I like to share stories, incidents, and examples because I feel, one, it makes sessions interesting. The next thing, I feel that it is easier for people to understand and remember for a longer period of time. So at the end of it, you will be able to give me a better feedback of the session. Let's get started. First of all, I would start with the example of a map. I'm sure all of you have seen a map during school time a number of times because you had to study geography in it. Now let's understand how a map is related to our life. Supposing you have a map in your hand which tells you the route how to reach your destination or goal. This map shows forest, it shows rivers, it shows land. It is actually a picture of the map. So in the same way, 95% of we live our life like a map. We just see the picture and our lifespan is over. We don't understand the depth of life. We don't understand the reality of life. That is why we are not able to enjoy and see the positivity in life. Now a map is a picture. It doesn't show you the depth. It will not show you how dense the forest is. It will not show you how dangerous it is to enter in. The river, it will not show you how you can cross it because you will not know the depth of it. You don't know whether you can walk through it or whether you have to swim through it. The road will not show you the potholes. It will not even show you the rocks that will become a hurdle in your way. Now in our life also, we have to understand that we don't have to deal our life as a map, but we have to understand the bigger picture. We have to understand life is beyond the boundaries, beyond our beliefs, perceptions, and values. Now, the second thing that I would like to share with you, which is related to stress, there are things in nature that tells you how to deal with stress. But human tendency is we don't learn from nature. Now, a simple example, like I'll share a story with you. A Jewish rabbi or a religious priest of Jews shared a story of a lobster. Lobster is covered with a shell, and that shell protects the lobster from all its enemies, whether it's big fish or whether it is like the other animals around. Now, as the lobster grows, the shell starts becoming tight for the lobster, to the extent that a stage comes when the lobster finds it too difficult to remain in the shell. Its body becomes absolutely tensed and stressed. It just cannot any longer take the shell around it. So what does the lobster do? It comes out of the sea, it comes onto the beach, starts digging the sand on the beach, makes a hole, gets into it, removes the shell from the body, makes the shell the top, and remains inside till it is ready to face the dangers of the world again. I mean, it is waiting there till it is able to get a new shell on its body. My friends, one thing I would like to say is, when a lobster, an animal we think doesn't have too much of a brain, can understand how to come out of stress, why can't humans, who are considered to be the most superior race of the animal kingdom, understand the fact of dealing with stress? We generally have stress, and because of that, we have some underlying problem. And then we go to the doctor. The doctor prescribes certain medicines, whether it is nerve relaxant, or it is a painkiller, or it is even a paracetamol, or probably it is like, a sleeping pill. These are things which will probably suppress your stress, but not remove them, or understand the root cause of removing the stress. Even a doctor who can normally suggest the ways of dealing with them don't suggest it, which is so very unfortunate. Now, let me share another example with you. This is also the example of a jungle. If I ask you all, which is the biggest animal in the jungle? You would say elephant. If I ask you, who is the tallest animal in the jungle? You will say giraffe. If I ask you, who's the fastest animal in the jungle? You will say cheetah. And if I ask you, who's the cleverest animal in the jungle? You will say fox. Well, my friends, all of them have very, very good traits and characteristics. But at the end of the day, it is the lion who is the king of the jungle. What characteristics does a lion have to make him the king of the jungle? He has courage and he is bold. This is the same thing that we need to put into our life. When a problem comes in front of us, why can't we face it boldly and with courage? Why do we always get scared, or we always get perturbed, or we always get nervous and stressful because of it? A problem, if it is solved within an hour or so, we don't consider a problem. But if a problem lingers on for a longer time, then we consider it a problem, because we don't understand how to solve it. We don't understand what we should do to get away from it. So I'll give you an example related to this as well. This is a cell phone, very lightweight. Supposing I hold the cell phone like this with my arm in the air without any support. Now, if I hold this cell phone for an hour in the air like this, there's no problem. I can very comfortably hold it like this. But if I hold it for 5 to 6 hours, my arm would start aching. And if I hold it for more than 24 hours, probably I'll feel my arm is numb and absolutely paralytic. The same is with stress. If we have stress for a shorter period of time, we can handle it. But if it is for a longer period of time, it tends to take a toll on our health. So why hold an extra burden on us? Why have stress clinging on to us? Why not keep it aside? I believe that calmness creates clarity. With a cool mind, you can think of all possible solutions. And probably if the problem is vast and cannot be sorted out immediately, then you have to show patience to deal with it. I would not say all problems are like this, that can be, sorted out immediately or sorted out with the passage of time, or they are like, inbuilt. We are like, kind of inviting stress. At times, stress is some outside force also. There's a third person who's like kind of, bringing that stressful situation around us. Now, how does that happen? All of us have faced at some point of life, in our lifetime, this thing. How have we faced it? There are people like, who probably give some negative remark, or probably like, might taunt you for something. So why is it that these people do? We have to understand that. Now, let me share an example with you again. What is it that you see in my hand? In one hand, I have a coin. In the other hand, I have a note. Now, these are both form of currencies. Okay. But if I say that I'm going to drop it on the floor, which currency is going to make a noise? Of course, the coin will make a noise. Now, my friends, it's the same way in our life as well. If a person is giving us taunt, or if a person is talking negative about us, probably his value and his worth is like this coin. Probably there are characteristics in us that he is like, wanting to have, but not able to have. He gets frustrated or she gets frustrated, and that is why those remarks are coming out. It is basically with the purpose of pulling you down, not letting you go towards your desired goals. So why get perturbed with it? Next time, when anybody gives you that kind of remark, just smile and remember that you are on the right path and you are on the right track towards your goals. And probably if you stop now, you're just a furlong away from success. So just keep moving ahead with this thing in mind, that if people around you are saying negative things, that means probably you're on the right track. Now let's move a little further, and let me now tell you what are the root causes of stress. One, there are various causes. One is, it could be because of relationships. It could be because of health reasons. It could be because of financial problems. It could also be because of losing a job or something. It could be because of emotions, beliefs, values, and perceptions. It could also be because of social comparisons. Now, let me deal with perceptions, values, and beliefs. From childhood, we have been brought up with certain beliefs, values, and perceptions. Now, we feel those values and perceptions are absolutely correct because that is what we have seen and learned from our environment, from our society, from our parents, from our friends, from our family, etc. But let me tell you, perceptions, beliefs, and values do change with time. What does not change and remain constant is the truth. Now, let's share examples about this. Shakespeare, a very well-known writer, had written the play Macbeth in 1601. Now, Macbeth, when he presented in the auditorium in London, people did not appreciate that play at that time. Why? Because if you remember a little bit about the story, the king was stabbed at the back, he was deceived, and at the end, the king dies. Now, at that point of time, when Shakespeare had shown this play in the auditorium, monarchy was supposed to be representing the gods. It was thought that kings are getting selected by the gods. They were in a way like looked up to. Nobody could imagine of deceiving them. And killing them was nothing that could be thought of. But this very place in which this play was shown, in 1648, King Charles was executed publicly for whatever reason it was. But there was a change. And in 1688, monarchy was removed and democracy was established. So you see, perceptions, values, and beliefs do change with time. Supposing 100 years back, I told everybody, I want to go to the moon. What would be the reaction of people? Are you mad? Going to the moon? Moon was just a circle of light which a person would see from far in the sky. We could not imagine, we could not believe, we couldn't even dare to dream of going there. Why? Because it was something that we thought was impossible. But now if I say that I want to go to the moon, everybody would readily believe it and agree. Why? Because we have the gadgets, we have the technology to do that. Because advancement in science makes us go to the moon now. In the same way, if we have certain desires and beliefs which right now we feel are impossible, or we feel that they are unachievable, why not work on the gadgets and techniques, because that is the only thing that is in the way of you and your success or desired goal. So let's start working on that instead of getting perturbed by it. No, this is a dream which is impossible, let me leave it. Now, if we come to what are the techniques that help us to get over stress, let me share a few techniques with you. First and foremost, keep your body hydrated. At least make sure you have 3 to 4 liters of water in a day. Sleep well, at least 7 to 8 hours in a day, because studies have proved that 5 hours of sleep is sleep deprivation. If you are in a lockdown situation, you are at home, you're not supposed to socialize, that does not mean that you have to be cut off from your family and friends. There are other ways to be in touch with them. Be in touch with them through WhatsApp, be in touch with them through Instagram, be in touch with them through Facebook. There are so many ways to connect. Even today's platform is an example of that. We are all connected out here, thankfully, because of WSCC. So, there are various ways of learning and tackling things and overcoming the stress bit. Now, if besides this that I talk about, we always tell our children the path to success. We tell them, okay, do this, be successful in life. That is what you have to learn. That is your final aim in life. Do we ever tell our children it's okay to fail? Even failure is part of life. All the people who have been successful so far have at some point of time faced failures. So it's all right. Don't take them as something which is a setback for you. Take them as a learning experience. Take them as stepping stones towards success. Another thing that I would like to say here, we have stopped thinking positively. We have stopped being grateful for things. Why? Because generally we are socially comparing ourselves to people who are higher up. We never compare ourselves to people who are down below. Let me share an example here also. Supposing a friend of mine, she has bought an Audi. We kind of work ourselves. No, I have to work hard. I have to earn money. I have to get an Audi or even a bigger car than my friend. I have to prove my social status. It is a prestige symbol. Now I have to show to the world that I am higher up. A stressful situation that I have created for myself. Supposing I talk about a neighbor. My neighbor has renovated her house and she's put the most expensive granite on the floor. She has put so many artifacts and pieces which are worth drooling over. Her house is like a dream house. I take it on myself. I have to work hard. I have to earn a lot of money. I have to make a bigger and better house than her because I have to prove that I am socially at a better level. And I have to prove that I have more respect in the society than anybody else. Again, a stressful situation that we have created for ourselves. Instead of this, can't we see people below us? Supposing I say it's negative things and I'm going to say I'm sorry for that. But then this example demands so. Supposing I see a dead body and I say, oh, I'm so thankful, God, that I am breathing. I'm so thankful, God, that I am alive. If supposing I see a handicapped person, I am grateful, I am thankful, God, that I have my limbs, I have my arms, I have my legs, I have my eyes to see, which I take for granted and only realize its value when they don't work. Or when I see somebody who is suffering from a deadly disease, cancer or something like that, why don't I say, oh, thankful God, I am healthy and I have all the day in front of me, do whatever I want to do. Why don't we think it this way? If we do, things become so simple, life becomes so much more happier. What about thinking about things that are positive? that make us happy during short term. For example, if I say that I am strolling on the roof and in front of me on the neighborhood roof, I see a peacock flew and it came there, and all of a sudden that peacock spread its wings. After spreading its wing, the moment I saw that, it was my aha moment. I the first thing that comes out from my mouth is wow, because it fills my heart with happiness, whether it is even for just a few seconds. It does. I take a picture of it and probably I keep it with myself, and later on it brings a smile on my face that this was the incident that brought happiness to my heart. Another incident that I would share with you is what about after the rains, the smell of the earth, a rainbow flashing in the sky. These are simple things that fill our heart with happiness. Supposing I say, okay, now take a piece of paper at the end of the day after a busy day, sit down on bed, start writing. These are the 5 things that make me happy. These are the 5 things that I need to be grateful for. Do it for 15-20 days or probably even a month. And then after that, see what magic happens in your life, because automatically it will get into you that I have to be grateful. I am happy by seeing simple things around you. Things are quite sorted. Now let me tell you a few exercises that can help you deal with stress. First, I will show you a technique which is called a Japanese technique. This is a part of acupressure. What do you see here? 5 fingers. All these fingers have nerves that are connected to emotions. The thumb represents worry. This represents fear. This represents anger. This represents sadness, and this sense of self-esteem. Now, if I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling worried, I press this for 1 minute. If I'm feeling fearful or scared of anything, I press this for 1 minute. If I am angry or upset about something, I press this for 1 minute. I'm feeling sad and low, I press this for 1 minute. And if I want to boost my confidence, I press this for 1 minute. When I want to feel relaxed and stress-free, absolutely calm, I press this for 1 minute. This entire exercise takes just about 6 minutes. We can do it every day. And this, believe me, helps in our physiological, psychological, and spiritual well-being. Now, besides this, there are a few more points that I'll tell you quickly, but some of them, if you want to know in detail the other points, I can probably share a video in the group. If we press this point, the tip of our thumb for 2 minutes, it relieves us from any kind of headaches or even migraine for that matter, temporarily, I would say. If we press the tip of this little finger, we get relief from sinus again for 2 minutes. If we press all these tips for 2 minutes, these 4 fingers, we are relieved from cold, cough, running nose. If we rub this for 2 minutes, or we can even roll a pen over it, we are relieved from cervical. So these are few points that I'm sharing with you, which you can try at home, and you can do these exercises very easily. Now let's start with the breathing exercises. There are breathing exercises that I will share with you. I will do it once, and the second time you can do it with me. Now the first exercise is I breathe in and then I breathe out. I'll start now. Second time you can do it with me. Again. The second exercise is I take in air from the mouth. I stop for 5 seconds and then I blow out air from my mouth. Okay, now let's start. Again. Generally, when we are stressed, this neck portion is the one that is tensed. So to immediately get relieved from it, we just need to pull our shoulders up and then relax. I'll show it and do it now. Relax. Again. Relax. Now, besides this, you must have noticed there are lots of laughing clubs that are in Delhi and in the outskirts as well. These laughing clubs are doing a wonderful job. Every morning you see them. They are like, kind of telling you exercises which like, are in the form of stories, or they are in a form of a sequence of events. Now, I'll share just a simple like sequence with you, which you can like, carry on with me. You just have to imagine things. It's all in the head. And then you can, all you have to do is laugh your heart out. Laughing is the best medicine that is possibly available. So, okay, I share this incident with you. You have come home late from somewhere and somehow you didn't have something to eat and you are hungry. You come home, you want to eat a good meal, but everybody at home is sleeping. So you go into the kitchen, you open the fridge, you see that there's no dough there. You have to knead the dough. So, hello, asi aata gunne ya. Let's do something which probably you have never done in life. So we laugh and we do this exercise. Hun asi chapati banani hai. Chalo chapati banaiye. Hun rumali roti banaiye. So this is how these activities are conducted. Every day doing exercises for half an hour is a must for everybody. It helps you physically and it's helping you psychologically as well. You will realize only once you start doing it every day. And what about meditation? Meditation is also something which is very essential to keep you calm from inside. If you all haven't started doing meditation, you can start with 5 minutes for the beginning. Now, how are you going to do it? You go into a quiet room, just close your eyes, and probably you can start with meditation of 5 minutes. You can close your eyes and just do Satnam Vaheguru, or you can do Om, whatever you're comfortable with. Not necessarily that you have to do early in the morning. You can even do it any time of the day, in the afternoon, in the evening. That is your me time. Whenever you feel relaxed, you can probably do this. So besides this, I would like to share an activity with you. Now this activity is, there are 6 words at random that I'm going to share with you. I want to know, on hearing each word, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? All right. Is everybody ready with a paper and pen? Because at the end of the session, I would like to discuss about it, and I would also tell you the purpose of this activity. All right, let's get started. These are very simple words, but let's do it. Are we ready? I am just taking it that all of you are ready with your pen and paper. The first word is home. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word home? The second word is food. Third word is tree. Fourth word is shadow. The fifth word is cloud. And the sixth and the final word is color. For the benefit of everybody, I'll once again repeat all the words. Just in case you have missed out on any word, you can write it down now. First word is home. Second word is food. Third word is tree.
Tree.
Yeah, tree.
Tree, paid. Okay.
Fourth word is shadow. fifth word is cloud, badal. And sixth and the final word is color, rang. So I suppose everybody's got it by now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now if I ask you all, what is the thing that you want most in life? The answer that all of you would come up with is happiness. 95% of the people would say we want happiness in life. Because everybody, including me, thought or thinks that happiness is the ultimate goal. But I differ a little from you here. Happiness is not the goal. It is the result of well-lived lifestyle. Now I'll explain to you how it is like, the result of a well-lived lifestyle. I'll share an incident with you. And you have to decide what gives you happiness. Supposing I say it's your birthday and you are throwing a party for 200 to 250 guests. You have a lavish food spread. You have A-class decoration. You have put the best possible music that is there. All the guests are very happy. They are full of praises for you. They are enjoying the party. They are even showering you with expensive gifts. So you are happy at the end of the day that your hard work has paid because all the guests have gone happy. Now in the second incident, you decide that on your birthday, for 200 to 250 children of the NCD school or probably the slum area children, you buy goodies, whether it is in the form of stationery, whether it is in the form of eatables, whether it is in the form of woolens if it is winters. Both the incidents, you get good wishes and blessings. Both the incidents, you have put in money. Both the incidents, you feel you have put in hard work and your hard work has paid because the other side is happy. Now my question to you is, what gives you more happiness? Of course, you are happy when you are giving it to the children. I'm sure all of you will accept this fact and agree with me. Isn't it strange? How come giving is making us more happy? Why is it, if we think logically, taking should actually make us happy? So how come giving is making us happy? Hello, let me share a story with you here. The story goes like this, that there's a college boy who's around 20-21 years old. He borrows his friend's car. He goes to pick up his girlfriend. He has about 1,500 in his pocket, and that is kind of more than enough to spend a good evening with his girlfriend. So he takes his girlfriend, he goes to a nice cafe, and he knows with this money they'll have a nice treat there. When they sit in the cafe, they order for food. And after ordering food, he happens to see just outside the window of the cafe. And all of a sudden, he's he jumps off his seat and he runs out. Seeing him go like this, his girlfriend is also shocked. What has happened all of a sudden that he has literally dashed out? She runs after him too. There's a lady who is sitting in the cafe and watching all this. So she is curious to know what has happened all of a sudden that this person had to dash out, and after him, his girlfriend also ran out. So she, out of curiosity, goes and she stands out at the cafe door to see exactly what is happening. So there's this boy who is frantically giving calls, very nervous and very worked up. And on the other hand, he sees a tow truck taking away the car. She understands what the problem is, so she goes straight to the tow truck driver and she asks him, what is the fine that I have to pay to release this car? He says 2,000. So she takes out the 2,000 amount, pays to the tow truck driver, takes a receipt from him and goes back to the boy. The boy is shocked and surprised. How come this lady that I have never seen in my life, that I have never spoken to, has helped me in this hour of need? He is very, very grateful to her. and thanks her from his heart, and he also requests her to share her number with him, for he wants to repay the money back by taking it from his father. To this, the lady replies that no, it is not required, it's okay. But he keeps on insisting, no, no, please, you actually have done a lot for me. I want to repay the amount back to you. Thank you so much. To this, the lady smiles and she says, if you want to give something back to me, make a promise to me for a lifetime. Promise me that now, whenever you see anybody of any level, rich, poor, known, stranger, you will always give a smile. Promise to me that from today, whenever you enter any place, any building, let it be your house, let it be a restaurant, let it be a hotel, let it be a school, let it be an office, you will open the door and let the person behind you enter first before you enter it. Give me a promise that little money that you have spare, you are going to share with the needy, because that might be a very small amount for you, but for that needy person, it could be a big help. Hearing this, there are tears in the boy's eyes, and he promises that he will keep this promise for a lifetime, and this incident changes his life. Now here I would like to share a poem with you, which is written by Helen Steiner. This poem goes like this: the more you give, the more you get. The more you laugh, the less you fret. The more you do unselfishly, the more you live abundantly. The more of everything you share, the more you'll always have to spare. The more you love, the more you'll find that life is good and friends are kind. For only what we give away enriches us from day to day. Now I would like to share another incident with you, which will clearly tell us how giving gives us happiness. This is scientifically proved. I just want to share this story with you, which shows that. Now there's this guy who is hurriedly rushing to some place, probably office work, whatever. He has to meet a deadline, or probably there's a meeting for which he's getting late. That we don't know, but he's in a great rush. So he's running and there's a backpack on his back. Now, while he's rushing and running, the backpack opens and all the papers that are there in his backpack tend to fall on the footpath and tend to get scattered. Now, this man bends down and he's quickly picking up all the papers that are scattered here and there. Seeing this man picking up all these papers, there's another man who's passing by, so he offers to help this man. So he also starts picking up a few papers of this guy that he is picking. Now, there's a third person who is seeing all this from across the road, this act taking place. Finally, all three of them are experiencing happiness. Why? Reason being, whenever we do something selflessly for somebody, where we don't have a motive and we do it just because we want to help that person, it releases a chemical in our body called oxytocin. Now, this chemical is the chemical that makes us experience happiness. And this is related to our act of doing things selflessly. It gives us a sense of fulfillment. It gives us a sense of satisfaction. It gives us a sense of being useful for somebody. The person who's helping is experiencing happiness because he's doing selflessly for that person. The person who's getting help is happy that a stranger who doesn't know me is helping me. The third person is happy seeing the act because he gets inspired that, okay, let me also help somebody selflessly. So this is how this magic works. Now here I would like to share with you a Ghalib's शेर. मुझे मोहब्बत करना नहीं आता, मुझे मोहब्बत के सिवा कुछ नहीं आता. जिंदगी गुजारने के दो ही तरीके हैं गालिब, एक तुझे नहीं आता, एक मुझे नहीं आता. Now, अच्छे तो वो लोग हैं जिन्हें कभी किसी तारीफ की या किसी गुड विशेस या कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स की कोई मोहताजी नहीं है. Do flowers ever need perfume to be sprinkled on them? Flowers always give that scent, that good feeling, that feel-good factor. And so does good people around us. So don't wait for others to do good. Be answerable to yourself. Be the first one to take the step to do something good, and the world will follow you. That should be the policy. Now, if I ask you a second question, here I would like to find out, what is it that you achieve in life which would make you feel that, yes, now I've got everything, I am satisfied, now I don't want anything else in life? Now, if I ask most of you would answer, I want a lot of money, I want a big, wonderful, palatial bungalow, I want a good, expensive car, and I want all the luxuries that money can buy, right? That includes me as well. So let me tell you, this is also a myth which I'm going to prove is wrong. There is two people who are Nobel Prize winners, Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton. They are both Americans. One is a psychologist and the other is a sociologist. They did a study on materialistic things, how it is related to happiness, or whether money is related to happiness or not. Now, I don't deny the fact that if supposing you get a lottery and it's such a lot of money that you can buy anything that you dream of or desire of, you will not feel happiness initially. You will definitely feel happiness. But that happiness lasts only for a short while. Why? Because it's a human tendency that as time passes, we get used to those luxuries. We get used to those good things, and they become a new normal. So we start experiencing the same happiness that we are experiencing right now. That level of happiness from a peak starts dropping and reaches the normal level of happiness, because this has become our new normal. The same way what we are experiencing now. During lockdown, initially we were very upset that we are in a jail inside our house. We are not able to step out. We are not able to do the things that we had thought of or planned of. But now, 5 months down the line, we have got used to it. Now getting ready is a task. It is a big effort, and pushing yourself that, okay, now I have to look nice, now I have to get ready. Oh my God, what a task. So we have got used to this because this has become a new normal. That is why happiness is not related to money, I say, in this regard. But okay, if you're still not satisfied, then probably the most happiest person for you on earth should be Donald Trump, Bill Gates, or even the Ambanis. Let's go back to history a little. If you have heard of Florence Nightingale, she was a nurse who had attended to wounded soldiers during World War. She was the person who would stay awake all night and tend to the wounds of the injured, or give them relaxation by serving them food, water, whatever they required when they were uncomfortable. Same is with Mother Teresa, who sacrificed her entire life for people around her who needed her help, whether they were the needy, they were the poor, they were the sick, they were even the handicapped people whom she looked after. Now, I'm sure all of you would agree that these people experienced more happiness than even any of the richest people in the world who have lived or who are still living. Now, even if now you are not satisfied, let me share some more experience with you. Jim Carrey, a Hollywood actor, had once said, God, if people feel that money makes everybody happy, give everybody lots of money so that they understand. Then what is it in life that gives us happiness? What is it in life that makes us feel contented? Let's share a little bit about our history as well, our Sikh history. If we go into our history and see the battle that took place in Delhi, Shah Alam was at that time reigning Delhi. People asked for help from the Sikhs, and Sikhs agreed to help this lot. They brought 3 commanders and a big army of 40,000 soldiers to fight this battle. They won this battle, And in the end, they kept their promise by giving the throne to the legal heir. So the crown was given to Akbar Alam. If you see in the past, Sikhs have always stood for injustice. Sikhs have always stood to protect the weaker lot. They have always fought for people who need their help, who need their support. But they have never fought for the throne or for the power. Now, Singhs and Kaurs, lions and princesses, I would really want to bring to your notice that you are blessed to be born in a Sikh religion, where we have been given everything by the Gurus on a golden platter. They have given the secret of self-fulfillment, the sense of self-satisfaction, the sense of being useful to the society. In various ways, they have taught us by doing those things themselves as well. If we go on further to see the three commanders of this Delhi battle, one commander was Jassa Singh Ahluwalia. He with his soldiers was also responsible, my friends, for saving the dignity of 2,200 women from the clutches of Mughals by striking at midnight. Unfortunately, due to the ignorance of a few people who do not know their history, a joke was made, 12 baj gaye. But again, I would like to bring that example that I had initially told you of that coin and that note. The people who are talking negative or giving taunts or making jokes are like this coin, and people who are on the right track and they know they are doing good or they are doing things for the benefit of people are like this. So next time when you face stress and tension, just remember, पूरे जहान के लिए आप शायद एक इंसान होंगी, but अपने परिवार के लिए आप पूरा जहान होंगी. Now let me share with you, come back to our gurus, that we are having three principles in our life on which the entire religion of ours is based, out of which we consider these three as the pillars of our religion, who advocate the art of giving. How? Kirat karo and vanchako. This is what during this pandemic time, our Sikh brothers and sisters have been doing. They've been doing langar seva in various places and various countries and various corners of the world. They have been doing and helping various things that help human and humanity in whatever way possible. And for this, worldwide, they have got recognition and have been applauded also, for which I'm sure all of us are very proud of it. Now, another thing that I would like to share here is a tuk from Gurbani. Gur seva se sukh upje, dukh na lage. Now, meaning, if we do service and follow the path of the Guru, sadness and grief will never befall upon us. So with this, I would say, Bhula chuka di maafi, Waheguru Ji da Khalsa, Waheguru Ji di Fateh.
Thank you so much, Seema ma'am, for such an enlightening session. I mean, there is so much to take back. Thank you for all the techniques that you've taught us. Thank you for building such a spirit in all of us. You've related it to Gurbani, you've related it to our gurus in the end. You've given fantabulous amount of information. The spirit of giving. WSCC is so grateful to you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Most welcome. I would like to share a little bit out here. Thank you for the certificate.
By the way, I just would want Parmeet Pichi to unmute himself and give this certificate for a minute, and then you can answer.
Okay.
Parmeet Pichi, would you want to unmute yourself? I think there is a technical. Ma'am, please go ahead. There is a technical.
Okay, I just wanted to share what I shared, a small activity with you all. I had promised that towards the end of the session, I'll tell you the purpose of this activity. And I would also tell you what each and every word means.
Right.
This activity was related to stress, and basically when one person is going through stress or a bad phase in life, he or she is always thinking negatively. he or she is always thinking it's all in your head actually. It's not what is actually happening around, but you feel like, you know, everything is negative around you. Everything is the worst possible thing that is around you. So my purpose of giving these words to you was, I'm sure everybody in this group has thought of positive things only with each and every word that I have spelled out here. But if you are negative, I will just share with you what kind of things come into people's head, and you'll be shocked to know. Like I shared the word home with you. Home for a person who's thinking negatively would say enemies. Food, they would think poison. Tree would be an obstruction. Shadow would be enemy. Cloud would be, shadow would be danger. Cloud would be storm. And color would be blood. You can imagine how your brain works and what a havoc it plays with you. That's why I say, please do exercises, please meditate, please stay connected with family and friends, because this, I know, is a tough time for everybody, but these are the ways to get or swim, like, you know, through this problem that we are facing right now. And I am sure, like, very soon this shall pass too. Good times will come, and very soon they will come. So till then, stay connected and stay put at home, stay healthy, stay happy.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing. Parmeet ji, certificate dekh liya humne. Please, your words, ji.
Hanji. Thank you, Rima ji, for such a wonderful session, and बहुत अच्छा session है. And we would like to thank everyone for joining in this session. इस तरह ਦੇ session every Friday ਹੁੰਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਗੇ. So keep joining in, and thank you, Rima ji. And we can ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ certificate of appreciation share कर देता है, वो ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ पहुंच जाएगा.
Yeah, so that certificate actually came all of a sudden, and I was stunned because I was trying to tell the reason why I took the activity, and it immediately kind of flashed, and I was like, you know, kind of zapped for a second.
quick phone बज रहा सी तो एकदम मेरे भाई गलती नाल चला गया. So thank you, Rima ji. Thank you so much. And Jasmeet ji, you
thank you for having me over, ji.
Thank you, Jasmeet ji. You can close.
Right.
Yeah.
So sort of brings this. So we are to the close of the session now. Really, like, how many thanks should I, say to Rima ma'am? It was a fantabulous session, we all know. And I'm really, really grateful for all of you to join. This educational journey will go ahead, will keep moving ahead. Our endeavor definitely is to, like I've already shared, that our endeavor is definitely networking and education, right? So education in these times are very, very critical, very, very crucial. So with that, thank you so much for joining. Keep tuned in for more. WSSC is there to serve you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.